Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And I continue with Gothic 3 modded. I'm here in Okara because I want to restore power to one of the paladins. I guess I also have the Shadow Beast horns for this guy.
Oto 2 rogi cieniostwora. Wielkie dzięki. Masz tu złoto i 2 mikstury lecznicze.
We'll just quickly check.
Nie.
Yeah, I cannot pray to Innos either. As I noted last time, it's presumably because I've chosen the path of resistance against the gods, and as such they no longer respond to my prayers, which is kind of understandable. Oh right, the king is dead.
Król nie żyje. Do diabła. Musimy więc radzić sobie sami. Niech Innos nas chroni. Przywrócę ci magię. Wielki dzień już niemal nadszedł. Niech Innos chroni wszystkie drogi, którymi kroczysz. Weź to. Łatwiej będzie ci zrealizować wyznaczone zadania.
Okay, so let's go to Montera. It's going to be rather tough. Montera is probably one of the hardest cities. One of the hardest cities to liberate. What? Is it an arrow-proof cow?
Natychmiast przestań! Niektóre rzeczy nigdy się nie zmieniają. Ani kroku dalej. Ja ci pokażę. Dam ci popalić.
Okay, I think this might be the last one. Hopefully. It isn't. Because one of the rebels, specifically this one, wants me to kill all of the cows on the farm. To deprive the mercenaries of sustenance. But I was pretty sure I killed...
Stać! Ktoś morduje naszych ludzi! Wiesz coś o tym?
Nie.
Mamy cię na oku.
Yeah, sure. That for sure wasn't me.
Natychmiast przestań!
Okay. So at least I'm done with that. And I will start the actual liberation from the farms as well, because they do count towards the overall limit of the people you're supposed to kill. And at the same time, they are considerably easier to take care of because they are sparsely populated compared to Montera proper.
Krowy ubite. Zadowolony?
Doskonale. Teraz czekamy już tylko na znak.
Miłej zabawy.
Ej, a nagrody nie chcesz? Masz tu kilka złotych monet.
Uwolnijmy to miasto.
Więc jednak cię dorwałem.
Twoja kolej.
Okay.
Właśnie tak!
Rozerwę cię na strzępy.
Okay, to kill Basir. Apparently he's not allied with the orcs, which again I do find weird.
Właśnie tak!
But I guess I will take care of him after I liberate Montera proper.
Pokazałeś mu!
Okay, I guess somebody else killed Basir for me.
Pokazałeś mu.
Zaraz upuszczę ci krwi.
Rozerwę cię na
Okej.
Montera jest wolna, a ty jesteś bohaterem. Niech cię Ino sprowadzi, przyjacielu. Proszę, masz tu kilka rzeczy, które ci pomogą.
Pokaż mi swoje towary.
That was relatively painless. Oh, damn it, I forgot to deliver the letter to Khan. That's probably not going to happen, seeing how this is literally the last city in Myrtana that I have not yet reconquered, so presumably they won't even talk to me anymore. Maybe they will. Interesting. And kind of hilarious. But presumably they will stop me at the entrance to the castle, right? Because that's what the mod usually does. And it does make sense. You know, they would notice. Yeah. That's kind of what I figured is going to happen. Although, in a way, it does make things easier for me, because they are already hostile, and therefore I won't have to, finish them off when they are on the ground to start the revolution. I will start from over here because it's a decent. This guard tower on the pass. It's a decent place to start.
Ej, uważaj co robisz, dobra?
Okay, and now I will slowly descend into Faring proper and fight them as I approach, because this way I can kind of funnel them.
Rozerwę cię na strzępy.
Okay, that isn't working as good as I would have liked, even though technically speaking I do have the high ground, but apparently in this game it doesn't count for as much. But it's still not going half bad. Okay, this is going pretty well. Okay, there's a shaman, and I have to be careful about that.
Walka!
No dalej.
Hej ludzie! Walka! Skradasz się jak jakiś złodziej! Tak! Hej ludzie! Walka! Właśnie tak! No dalej! Właśnie tak! No dalej! Właśnie tak! No dalej! Ludzie! Walka!
Apparently I didn't have the chance to kill Khan myself, the warlord of all of the orcs, which is kind of disappointing. Okay, that's interesting.
Mora, natychmiast!
Pokaż mi swoje towary.
Apparently they forgot
Spalaj, Mora.
they forgot to code the proper guild for this guy.
A! U! O! A!
But I think Myrtana is liberated.
Złamany.
I'm a bit sad I didn't face Khan.
Po pierwszej wielkiej wojnie orkowie władali Myrtaną. Ludzie byli ich niewolnikami, ale wojownicy byli ich gladiatorami.
Again, I'm not going to bother with looting, because it doesn't matter at this point. I'm just checking out if there's something extraordinarily cool. Okay, so let me review my journal before I end the game. Is there something I would still like to do? Because most of it is stupid fetch quests, which I don't care about. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. I'm not doing this because I don't know how. It seems to involve... because I need to find those high priests and kill them, but it didn't give me any solid location. It just said that they are roaming the desert, so I would have to go through entirety of Varant to search for them, and I'm not about to do that. Come on. I'm not doing that because I don't have the materials, and I don't have the materials for this either, but those are just 2 fetch quests with hunting trophies. Nothing here. Not doing that. Nothing here. I don't know how to do that. Lares got robbed, but I searched presumably the entirety, I do believe the entirety of Geldern, and I didn't find his stuff. So I don't know how to do that. And nothing here, nothing here. Frick, I didn't want to do that. Nothing here, nothing here. Okay, I'm not doing that because this is pointless at this point, and I think at last deer disappeared from the face of reality. I guess I can go and fight the dragons just to showcase them. Because there are dragons underneath Cape Dawn. I'm not doing that, I don't think so, because finding this hunter is going to be annoying. And not doing that because I don't have the materials. Not doing that, not doing that, and not doing that. Nothing here. And the rest is just ending the game with Xardas. So, free the desert from the rule of Hashashin, not doing that. Oh, where is Guru? I would like to do that, but I don't know how, because I have this book and a key. I have this book, A Grandfather's Legacy. And it says here, and so we follow the signs that led into the darkness. Was he resting on the trade routes of the Hashashin? Is he hiding in the cover of a mountain range? So I do believe, because I have a key, presumably for the next chest, and I do believe it has to be somewhere, both near a road, because that would be the trade route of the Hashashin, and near the mountain. So either over here, or like over here. But that's quite a lot of ground to cover, so I'm not sure. Maybe I will do it off screen, like look for it and you know, enable recording if I find something, because that's pretty much the last thing apart from the dragons I would like to even do before I end the game. But I guess for now, let's go and kill the dragons because it's actually easier. Oh wait, where are the remaining paladins? I've got... how many chalices do I have left? Where even are there? I mean, are they? Because I also need to restore the power to the paladins? Wait, I've covered 2 in Nordmar, 4 in Vanguard, that's 6. Then Javier in Red Oak, Wenzel in Cape Town, that's 7. No, 8. Then Roland in Okara, that's 9. Conrad in Trellis, that's 10. That guy in Nemora, that's 11. So I'm missing 1, I believe, but where is he? Or did I finish it? I guess let's go with main. Throw the chalices into the sacred fire. I don't think I found them all, but maybe I did. I guess I must have. Ah, right. That was 11, but 12 was Cruz near Morasul. So I did get them all. And this is, I believe, the cave with the dragons. It starts very unassuming, but it's actually very deep and complicated. You can see how it winds down. How do I even legitimately get down? I'm not quite sure, but I guess this works. Okay, and there is a dragon. I do believe there are two in this cave. So let's test my metal against it. It pretty much behaves as a gargoyle would. Oh, but presumably, apparently it can shoot fireballs in melee range, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, actually it's majorly annoying. Yeah, so that's the riveting fight against dragons. Truly a spectacle. Okay, so that's one of them. Well, so those were the mighty dragons of Gothic 3. And they had some measly treasure, but doesn't really matter. Especially because it's randomly generated, which is shit, and
Złamany.
I will talk more about it during my final conclusion, during the credits. But for now... I guess Milten wanted to hear if I ever... if I ever kill a dragon. Okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because, again, the game does not give me a location, so I would have to look throughout the entirety of the game's world to kill the remaining dragons, and I just don't care enough. So let's... The only thing I kind of care about is that where is Guru quest with the Grandpa's legacy, so... I will try searching for that. I will teleport to Braga. The book mentioned the trade routes of the Hashashin, so presumably a road, and also a mountain range. So my reasoning is that the solution is a cave in the mountains near a road. So it's either somewhere over here or somewhere over here. Although I guess those are mountains as well, so that's kind of all of the roads. That's a little bullshit, but I will look for it. Let's see how many we have. I'm going to hug the mountains because, as I said, I do believe it must be a cave in the mountain near a road. Okay, that's great. Grandpa's Legacy Part 2 and the Silver Key. That's great indeed. I wasn't counting on it being so easy, but I'm glad that it was. Bookslayer, Adanos' Tears. When a warrior of Adanos falls, there is also a god mourning. Okay. A hairwear. Pills of luck. Doesn't always work out. Maximum life, mana and endurance. Coin. Fanatic animal. Okay, let's read the second book, because it will contain a clue, presumably. It was our task to fight him, whose innumerous undeads brought all in despair, taunting us while he wrote his silent testimony of his deeds at every one of his sacrifices. Suffering and desperation clouded the view, and still we were on the hunt for him. We solved problems here, and for thanks we got new ones there, more impressive tasks. Heavy was the weight on our shoulders, too heavy for some of us, and so we lost a few of our brothers right from the start of our hunt. No, not that I doubted our goal, but had the first of the sacrifices be brought about now already? A high price we paid. Grief for the fallen warriors, for the fallen brothers, but do not despair, or their sacrifice would have been for nothing. After he took some of us, he fled to the north. Surely he will avoid the cities, but completely without walls he will not survive if he wants to stand against us. Okay, so it's not in a city, but it's in a walled place. So that has to be one of the ruins, right? One of the ruins in the forest, because there are ruins of like castles near Geldern. So, well, near Geldern and Geldern. So I will go there. I know there's a castle in the north on a hill. That's kind of promising, although I was there and I don't think I noticed a locked chest. But I will check again. And then there are a couple of more near Geldern in the forest and over here. So I will check them all. Okay, this might have been a mistake. To be honest, it's kind of stupid on the part of the game developers to make something like that. Because how do I even get out now? It's kind of cruel, if you ask me. Okay, I am going to use cheats because... Come on. I didn't save. And that was bullshit. So let's save now. But there's seemingly no chest. And it isn't that surprising because I think I would have remembered that there was a locked chest and I didn't know what to do with it. But I'm pretty sure it has to be one of those ruined castles. It's now the question of finding the rest of them. There are more of them in this forest over here, near Montera and Geldern. But it's a large area. It looks kind of different, and I was not here, which is promising. And there's a bunch of chests, which is even more promising.
Złamany.
Okay, I do believe it must be here. Group Hypnosis, Golden Key, and Grandpa's Legacy 3, with help from others. So there is the Knight of the Round Table with the Amulet of Life Spirit. Everyone has hidden powers. There is Black Feather, Fingers Rapier, the symbol of a true master thief. Many would kill to get their hands on this sword. And Timer, Innes's Solace, the fire that keeps you warm. 10th Man, Penetration Crossbow, hard on impact, goes straight through every armor. No Name, with some gold. And that seems to be it. Well, let's read the other book and see what the clue is. Troublesome moments lay behind us. The way asked for more offerings and privations. No one can tell us what awaits us tomorrow. Still, we don't have to face the oncoming signs and dangers alone anymore. On our way, we found noble knights who wandered with us on the same path. With their aid, we could in shorter time battle a large number of dangers. Without doubt, without our new companions, at this moment, would have not have been so far along the path. Brother, look, there he lies on the ground before us. His tracks are clear and his wounds deep. He cannot be far away. The castle did not withstand our attacks, but he is not to be found in the cellars. Did he escape to the north? Did he seek the peace of the dead? Though before we set for our last battle, give our fallen brothers the last honor, bury them in the sacred grounds, and let them guard these battlegrounds. Maybe they will even guard us, as the way up north will be a cold one. So, did he escape to the north again? So Nordmar, did he seek the peace of the dead? So presumably, the next chest is somewhere near the Ancestor Tombs. That's going to be a lot of walking, and I'm kind of already annoyed, but I'm pretty invested in this, even though I have my gripes with the concept of this quest. Even though I like it generally, I think it's kind of cool. It's actually one of the more engaging things I've done in Gothic 3, because at least it involves some actual, adventure rather than just killing people and gathering plants or whatever. But I will talk more about that during the epilogue. For now, let me go to the Fire Clan. And go forth from here, because one of the tombs is very much nearby.
Pogadamy później.
How will I even recognize if I am at the right place? Like, presumably it's not inside the tomb. I would have remembered a locked chest again. So it has to be somewhere near a tomb? But I'm not sure at which point, do I have a right to assume that there is no such place nearby, and in which cases is it just a matter of me not noticing something? I guess that's a distinction. It's potentially kind of annoying. Okay, I guess that's an Easter egg of sorts. Anno Captain, or CPT. Maybe that's one of the developers of either the game or most likely the mod. I guess that's kind of cool, but that's not exactly what I was looking for. Okay, this looks kind of promising. It looks like it could lead somewhere. So let's try jumping up there. Okay, I think this is it. Great, great. Grandpa's Legacy Part 4 until the end. Okay, so there is Klingon General with the Stormbringer axe. The ice-cold wind from Nordmar accompanies the bearer of this axe. There is a Time Giver with wine. Would you like a cookie with your wine? And cookie. Would you like some wine with your cookie? And there is a Quest Giver with a note, a long story. Divine Support with Godspark. Unavailable for gold, the treasure of the gods. Okay, that's actually very good, but I'm not going to drink this yet because it might be used in the conclusion of the quest itself. McAdam, Army of Fear. Fear and fright spread among the army. Titan, Beliar's Wrath. Beliar destroys these enemies, also through you. Fur Trapper, Master Bow, made by a master from a most durable wood. And Dual Doppelganger, Unknown Teleport, and Gold. Okay, so first let's read the notes. A long story can be short, okay? Apparently it can. Grandpa's Legacy Part 4. 8 brothers we were, 8 in battle hardened, 8 who fought here, 8 who saved you. He, the Guru, stood before us, none would hesitate. Without the knights, we would have been on our own, and our time would have come. The legacy of our grandfather will be fulfilled here and now, but be aware of my wounds. I write this with the last of my powers, to tell the world of our approaching victory. The greatest evil of this world will have to fight for the last time today. Our death for one side can determine the future, one way or the other. I, Divine Support, will not survive the next battle, so pray to your God and beg for a better ending. Beg that you will not face the Guru. Grandfather, we're coming. So we the 8, so were there 8 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, right. And one of them I do believe was called Divine Support. So well, let's use that teleportation scroll then. Where is it? Unknown teleport. The target is unknown. Okay, there's someone fighting. Apparently it's the guru himself. But he's hostile, so no talking is to be done. What is Guru has ended. Which was a little anticlimactic after all of the ways they hyped him up. Druid staff, mana plant, coin. Nordic scout. Teleport to the wolf clan. Okay. Some randomized loot. An army of darkness. So wait, no actual conclusion? He didn't have any kind of note on him. There was no additional chest. I just killed him in 2 attacks and that's it. And all I got out of it is this lousy bench to look at, to sit at and look at the waterfall. Like, that's kind of bullshit. And, well, let me get out of here. Because the sound of the waterfall is distracting me a little bit. I will teleport to Xardas. Okay, so I guess that was the entirety of the quest. What is Guru? And like, I did enjoy that. The actual, puzzle. Oh, somebody is attacking Xardas. The actual sort of quest, the actual mission of finding what the clues relate to and finding the correct place was kind of cool. And I guess the mystery of it at the beginning was also interesting, who is that grandfather they were talking about, why they were hunting him and what was his story. But what annoyed me kind of was that it was full on fourth wall breaking. Like, all of the names were puns or jokes, and they were obviously out of character. They were unimmersive, and also what annoyed me was that there was no actual conclusion. I didn't learn anything about who the guru was or what his purpose was, or why did he turn his own grandchildren into those weird monsters with weird names. Like, I just killed him and that's it. So that was interesting and I did enjoy that, but I feel like if you compare it with Chromanin, which was a quest in Gothic 1, actually my favorite quest, one of my favorite quests in all of the Gothic saga, Chromanin was actually a lot better because it was entirely in-universe and the mystery was entirely in-universe, and it made it a lot more engaging, for me at least, than those jokes and those fourth wall breaks of What is Guru. So it was a valiant attempt, but I do believe Chromanin was leagues better as this type of, puzzle hunting mystery quest. But with that being said, let's talk to Xardas and end the game.
Król nie żyje.
Stary głupiec. Nigdy nie zgodziłby się na dobrowolne opuszczenie tego świata. Jego moc została jednak wygnana, a Inos osłabiony.
Zuben nie żyje.
Jego moc zniknęła z tego świata i tylko to się liczy. Wpływ Beliara również osłabnie. To jednak wcale nie koniec.
Mam berło warantu.
Pilnie go strzeż. Będzie nam później potrzebne.
Mam kostur wędrowca.
Wygląda jakby znajomo. No nic, zatrzymaj go. Później się nam przyda.
No, zrobiłem wszystko, co było trzeba.
Jesteśmy więc wreszcie gotowi. Gotowi, aby wspólnie opuścić ten świat. Mając kostur i berło, otworzymy portal do nieznanych krain.
A wtedy?
A wtedy przez niego przejdziemy. Tak jak mówiłem, nikt nie zna krańca ścieżki, na którą wkraczamy. Daj znać, kiedy będziesz gotowy. Będę tu czekać.
Bo gdzieżby indziej? Skąd wiesz, że ten portal w ogóle da się otworzyć?
Nie spędziłem tych wszystkich dni tutaj bezczynnie. Udało mi się dowiedzieć kilku rzeczy. Między innymi tego, że berło i kostur są znacznie starsze, niż nam się wydaje. I tego, że wykonano je tak samo jak portal. Tak, z portalem związane jest wiele wątpliwości. Kto go zbudował? Dlaczego nie zachowały się żadne zapisy na ten temat? Kiedy go zbudowano? Wiele czasu poświęciłem na badanie wzajemnych powiązań wszechświata. Mimo tego wciąż wiele mi brakuje do ich pełnego zrozumienia. Proszę cię tylko o to, byś kroczył tą ścieżką u mego boku. Sam nie podołam, podejmujący decyzje.
Jestem gotów na nieznane krainy.
Mnie też już nic tu nie trzyma.
W takim razie
Tak, czas iść.
Okay, it's actually quite a trek. And there will be enemies along the way. So I have to be careful, because if I died at this final stretch, it would be kind of embarrassing.
Wciąż jestem w formie.
Obviously those are the followers of both King Robar and Zuben, both trying to avenge the death of their leaders. Okay, this is actually hilarious, because Xardas is probably the most wanted man in all of Myrtana, as far as the rebels are concerned, because obviously he's the one that enabled the Orcs to win the war, and yet he casually strolls throughout one of their camps on his way to his final objective. That's hilarious. Don't tell me he's entirely bugged. He's clapping. Guess he's maybe waiting for the fight to end? Okay, that's interesting. Also kind of annoying, but interesting. what's over here? Apparently the orcs are against Xardas as well, which is interesting. Because up until this point he hasn't done anything to really thwart them. I did, but... I don't remember if there were orcs facing you at this moment in the vanilla game as well, or is it only an addition of the mod?
Twoja kolej!
Wciąż jestem w formie.
Twoja kolej!
Wciąż jestem w formie.
This is just a random troll fighting one of them.
Popełniłeś błąd, zadzierając ze mną.
Okay, so before I end the game, let me consume every stat increasing thingamajig and present my ultimate character screen. Okay, so those are my final stats, and with that done, let's conclude the game.
Ruszajmy. Czas otworzyć portal.
Czyli żegnamy się z tym światem?
Zgadza się. Opuszczamy ten świat. Jednak czekają na nas nieznane krainy.
Show me your goods. That would be an interesting thing to say at this point.
No dobrze, w drogę. Otworzyliśmy portal do nieznanych krain. Opuściliśmy ten świat. Na zawsze. Co nas tam czeka? To już inna historia. Oddziały królewskie i paladyni znów urosną w siłę, dumę i potęgę. Przez wiele lat Lee łaknął krwi króla z powodu zdrady Robara. Król Robar nie żyje. Zemsta Lee nareszcie się dokonała. Lee zostanie teraz generałem armii. Dzięki swym zdolnościom przywódczym ponownie zjednoczy rozbite grupki ludzi. Gorn pozostanie w Gotha i odbuduje stary zamek. Stanie się on azylem dla tych wszystkich, którzy przetrwali wojnę. Władza orków została obalona. Ci, którzy przeżyli wojnę, powrócą do swoich miast i krain. Królestwo ludzi czeka długa era pokoju. Po śmierci Zubena rządy asasynów nad pustynią Warant wkrótce dobiegną końca. Diego zostanie najbogatszym człowiekiem świata. Zawsze miał nosa do interesów. Pod osłoną murów Morasul stworzy wielkie imperium handlowe. kultura koczowników zniknie z piasków pustyni. Lester znajdzie tak długo poszukiwany spoczynek w Bradze i przekształci rozpalone piaski pustyni w żyzne pola, na których będzie rosło jego bagienne ziele. Angar będzie miał dość walki i poszuka spokojnego życia w izolacji wśród ruin Warantu. W górach Nordmaru życie wkrótce powróci na stare tory. Barbarzyńcy ostatecznie odzyskają ziemię swych przodków. Wśród białych gór Nordmaru zapanuje cisza. Milten pozostanie w klasztorze i nadal będzie studiować pisma pradawnych. Jako stary, siwy człowiek stanie się najmądrzejszym z mądrych i zacznie przekazywać swą ogromną wiedzę studentom. Trochę czasu zajmie mu zrozumienie, że podjąłem słuszną decyzję. A Lares? Z pewnością zawsze będzie tam, gdzie można coś dostać. No cóż, to już wszystkie? To się okaże. Wiadomo tylko jedno. Wszystko będzie w porządku.
So, on the subject of the epilogue itself, it's interesting to note that apparently the death of Zuben in itself was enough to crumble the rule of the Hashashin over the desert, so that coupled with the fact that they killed the nomads, presumably reduced Varant to like a patchwork of warring city-states without a central power. So that's kind of interesting, but I guess it's a result that this version of the Nameless Hero, being a cruel psychopath, probably wouldn't have that much of a problem with to begin with. Well, so that was Gothic 3, with a bunch of mods, most importantly the content mod and the quest pack. And I have to say, as much as it pains me to say it, I have to say that it was mostly a chore. Like, I didn't really have that much fun. I really tried. I tried to get into it, and I kind of did for like the first third or something. You probably noticed how the way I played changed over time, and at the later part of the game, I kind of dropped all pretense. I started to jump from high places because it was quicker. I started to quick loot a bunch of stuff to avoid the animation of the Nameless Hero picking up things, because I just couldn't be bothered anymore. And overall, Gothic 3 to me seems like a victim of its own ambition. They tried to make it too big, and in the end, it made it lifeless. And it made it bland because they presumably didn't have enough resource to handcraft everything. So they sort of resigned to using like auto-generated loot, which again I felt was kind of pointless and really weak, because in Gothic 1 and 2, every last piece of loot, every chest, every content of every chest, every sword, every scroll that was dropped by a skeleton, lying by a skeleton of a long dead adventurer, it was all handcrafted and hand placed, so it made it feel genuine. Whereas in Gothic 3, it was downright hilarious how there were locked chests in the middle of wilderness, like in a forest. You were going through a forest and there was a locked chest with randomized loot. Overall, I would say Gothic 3 felt a little bit like a single-player MMO, and that's definitely not a good thing for me, because there was tons of content, sure, but most of it was repetitive and bland, like bland to the max. There was, in each town, there were very similar quests. Oh, kill 10 boars. Oh, bring me 10 potions or something, and over and over and over again. Compare the structure of questing in a single town in Gothic 3, which would have taken at most an hour and a half to do everything there was to do. Compare it to Gothic 2 and Korinis. When in my Let's Play I arrived in Korinis for the first time, I spent like 5 hours straight doing everything there, and those were actually interesting things, hunting down the Thieves Guild, gathering the clues about their whereabouts, and finding their headquarters in the sewers. Those were actually engaging things, whereas in Gothic 3, you just did the same random crap, or very similar random crap in each town, bring me 10 whatever. Like, it was so boring and so soulless that after a while it was very difficult to care, even though I really tried to care, but I just couldn't after a while, because it was also similar looking and also similar feeling, that in the end, as I said, it made me feel like I'm playing an MMO, and it made me feel like I'm grinding, which isn't a good thing, especially in an RPG. In a game that's supposed to be immersive and that's supposed to transport you into this other world and make you feel like you're having an adventure. I didn't feel like I was having an adventure. I felt like I'm, filling a checklist. It was all kind of mechanical for me after a while. I just wanted to get through it. Because I have a bit of an OCD tendencies. Like, I don't have OCD per se, I was never diagnosed with OCD, but I do have tendencies that are kind of obsessive, and they manifest, for example, in the need for like closure. I don't like doing things that and then do not see them end. So that's why I have this feeling I have this need to finish all of the quests, or at least most of them, as many as I can, even though there was nothing interesting about those quests, because most of them, there was really very few, if any, that I found actually engaging. I guess the search for Xardas was kind of interesting the first time you played Gothic 3, because you traversed Myrtana and you learned about his exploits during the war, and you sort of gathered clues about his whereabouts. So that was kind of interesting, I believe, at least for me. And the way you first arrived in Vanguard and saw it all, destroyed and meticulously ruined and overrun by orcs, and then you fought your way into the castle, and this grandiose music started to play when you met Robar, the king. That was kind of cool as well for me when I first played Gothic. But overall, like, vast majority of the quests in Gothic 3 are instantly forgettable. You do them and you forget them. Whereas in Gothic 2, for example, and Gothic 1 as well, but Gothic 2 especially, I feel it refined a lot of things from Gothic 1. There were tons of actually interesting and kind of engaging quests. For example, that quest with the Thieves Guild was very interesting, but also the quest where you had to find the missing people, and you found the clues about the bandits kidnapping them, and you searched for Dexter and you had to learn his name to get into his hideout. There were very many interesting quests, and I will remember them for years to come, whereas in Gothic 3, I probably won't remember most of what I played through in like a month or something. The only quest I feel like that at least tried to do something interesting with itself was the Where is Guru quest, and I did enjoy that. It was cool, but I still feel it was leagues worse than Chromanin in Gothic 1. I feel like Chromanin fulfilled my need for this kind of adventurous mystery, clue quest a lot more, a lot better than Where is Guru did. Because Where is Guru ended somewhat abruptly, and it was also, very fourth wall breaking, which I didn't really enjoy, because I feel a greater result would have been achieved if it stayed in universe, much as Chromanin itself did in Gothic 1. What else? Yeah, the combat, there was tons of combat in Gothic 3. Too much, I believe. Like, I killed probably thousands of enemies, but it seldom felt rewarding. And even if it did, it was mostly through cheese. Like, it's very difficult to utilize consistent tactics in the truest sense of this word in Gothic 3, because there were just so many enemies, for example, during the city liberations, that you had to cheese it a little bit, I believe, to emerge victorious. And I guess it did give me a strange sense of satisfaction from time to time, but overall it was so time consuming and so unrewarding generally, coupled with everything else, that it constituted such a large portion of the game that overall I feel Gothic 3 is too large for its own good, and it struggles to fill that space with something that's substantial. Because the worlds of Gothic 1 and 2, for example, they weren't that large, but they were very dense, and it was a joy to explore them, because in each nook and cranny there was something interesting that the developers hand placed there for a specific reason. They actually thought about it, and it told you some story, about a traveler that died in a cave-in, and he had some supplies with him, so that's why you found the scrolls, for example, magical scrolls or something. Whereas in Gothic 3, again, it felt like an MMO, because you just strolled through the forest and you find a random chest that's locked, and you open it, and there's auto-generated random crap in it. Like, you found a ladle and 2 potions and an apple or something, and there isn't any conceivable way to explain why there was a locked chest inside a forest with an apple and a ladle and 2 potions, because there is no explanation. It's just random generated bullshit. So I did not enjoy that at all, and in fact I feel like it robbed you of a feeling of awe and of curiosity for exploration, because all of those places, all of those caves and forests could have been interchangeable, and functionally I believe they were, because the loot, as I said, was randomized, so you just found a chest, but it could have been a different chest and the loot would still be the same, or if you reload it, it wouldn't, because it would be different after a reload, which made it feel artificial and made it feel, again, like an MMO, because that's something that happens in the MMOs a lot, where, for example, animals drop gold or weapons. Fortunately, nothing like that happened in Gothic 3, but it was pretty close sometimes with those chests to feeling like that, at the very least. What else? The mods. I did enjoy them. I think they strived to do something cool. Especially I liked the upgraded armors of Gothic 1 and 2, brought up to Gothic 3's graphical style. It was nice to look at them, and they brought with them the feeling of nostalgia for the previous Gothics, so job well done on that. The translation was very poor, actually to the point where it was kind of difficult for me sometimes to understand what the notes were saying, but in spirit, I do admire most of it. For example, how they tried to tie the existence of dragons in Gothic 3 to the previous Gothics. That was kind of cool. And also those little added comments where the Orcs commented on the changing situation in the kingdom and how some of their patrols were missing, or that they noticed that you were working with the druids and were tightening security as a response. I do believe that was also a cool idea. But mostly it was the armors that I enjoyed. I wouldn't say the mods were anything groundbreaking, because to be honest, most of the quests that were added seemed kind of pointless. They were mostly very simple, and nothing much came out of them. Like, for example, there was literally a quest where you just mocked a paladin for having a weird hair color, so I don't quite get what that was about. That was definitely pretty weird. I was kind of invested in the quest with the eternally living. It started out very promising and kind of interesting, but then sort of devolved into nothing. Like, there was no actual conclusion, I felt like. Sure, I got a magical amulet or like a ring out of it, but as far as a story reward, as far as some kind of a cool lore, I feel it was abruptly cut short and didn't really justify the amount of time you put into it, because it was pretty elaborate. It was a lot of looking around, so that was kind of weird and seemed a little bit wasted. So overall, I would say the mods were cool and they added something to the game, and I'm glad that I tried them at the very least. But I wouldn't say they were anything groundbreaking or like mind-blowing. But I don't mind having them installed. I think they did their job of, you know, bringing a little bit more of Gothic 1 and 2 flavor to Gothic 3. And for that, you know, I am grateful to them. What else? The one thing I kind of unambiguously enjoyed in Gothic 3 is the music. I really like the music. I think it's great. And it's kind of a little bit different in style to Gothic 1 and 2 because obviously it's orchestral, so it's a lot more majestic. But I still liked it nonetheless. And to be honest, the only moments of like fleeting satisfaction and immersion I had with this game, with Gothic 3, were the moments where I was strolling through like a forest or the wilderness of Nordmar, and the appropriate location music was playing in the background. Like, those moments could, from time to time, be kind of magical, even if for just a little bit. What else? It's still horribly optimized. I have a spec that's way above the recommended, gear for this game, and obviously it has been, 15 years since Gothic 3 came out, and it still runs like shit. I had very poor frame rate from time to time, and sometimes it downright stopped, like it freezed for like 3 seconds, so that's kind of bullshit. But that was to be expected. Like, I wasn't expecting anything else when coming back to this game. What else? Yeah, overall, I would say I kind of, well, I don't hate Gothic 3. In fact, I kind of like it from time to time, but definitely not for such a prolonged time. Like, I like it in like an hour chunks from time to time, like walk through a forest, kill some enemies. But to go through entirety of it, it was 50 hours? I don't know yet because I haven't edited it, but it was a very long time. And in the end, it did feel a little bit like a chore, as opposed to Gothic 2, which I replayed recently, and it still felt great. It still felt like an adventure, but Gothic 3 felt like a chore, and I cannot bring myself to full on hate it, but I am very much disappointed in it. I feel this sense of like loss, this sense of sadness at the thought that the Gothic franchise is one of my favorite RPGs, and I love Gothic 1 and 2, and Gothic 3 could presumably have been great, because obviously it has been made by the same people, so they had the talent. They made games that I consider to be great before, and yet it was all squandered for the sake of like too large ambitions, I believe, and also presumably trying to get into the zeitgeist a lot more, because presumably they thought they have to make it bigger and they have to make it more grand to compete with the other games at the time. But I don't think it was a good decision, and overall I think Gothic 3 suffered for it. I don't know what else to say. Maybe I will write something more, like a more detailed summary of my thoughts. If I do, it's going to be in a pinned comment underneath this video, but I'm not promising anything because that depends on the atmosphere inside my head, let's say, and whether I have something important and interesting to still say after this rambling summary at the end here. But besides that, well, if anything else, if not for any other reason then I'm glad I finished Gothic 3 because it gives me a sense of completion. To have all of the 3 Gothics recorded and stored on my channel. So if not for any other reason, then for that reason, I am kind of glad I finished it. But I guess for now, that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.